fine morning.
Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Well, this week we're in Stowe, Vermont for the British Invasion. This is one of the largest all-British shows in the country, but it's the only one nestled in the beautiful Green Mountains. Man, what a place for a car show. The event's in its 19th year. It draws several hundred cars, all of the British persuasion, and people keep coming back year after year. But all you have to do is hang around here for a little while, and you can easily see why. So let's get around and check out some of this cool British iron in this very cool setting. So Michael, 19th year for the British invasion?
Yep, it's been 19 long years from a very, very small beginning of a couple hundred cars to what's now become the largest all-British car show on the East Coast with over 600 cars a year here.
600 cars, and
600.
And folks coming. I've seen plates from all over here. I've seen I saw a Florida plate here.
Yep, we have people from Florida, we've had people from Hawaii, we have people from Nova Scotia. We're not that far from Canada, so you've noticed a lot of French-speaking people.
A lot of French-speaking, a lot of
A
Canadians.
lot of unusual cars from Canada that come down, so it's pretty good.
Well, you guys do a lot of different things too. I mean, first of all, Stowe is a great destination. I mean, how can you not like coming to Stowe? But then all weekend, you do all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah. We start with a backroads driving tour on Thursday. There's a really great block party on Friday night put on by the town. People love that. And then Saturday, of course, is the big day here. That's the Concours d'Elegance, our judge competition, with over 30, 40 cars in that. And then the rest are out in the People's Choice competition with over 50 separate classes. Then we have the car corral. So all of that goes on Saturday.
I was looking at a few things in that. And then Sunday you do some other fun stuff?
Sunday we get up and we do a back roads run up over the notch, the Smuggler's Notch, which is a very up over the top of the mountain and down the other side.
And the whole weekend's a big time.
A big time, a lot of fun.
We're in a pretty big time vehicle here. This is a
big time vehicle.
This is a legitimate British vehicle here.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly what you would call a concourse car.
but it looks like we could do some serious, or at least rabbit hunting. What do you say? Did they leave the keys? Let's fire this baby up. Let's go.
The keys are here. I'm not sure if I can start it long, but you never know.
We're out of here. Well, Malcolm, this is a great looking little car. It's a 1932 MG J1.
J1, yes.
Now, they haven't been making cars for very long.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. The midget car. They made cars before 1929, but then they started to produce the midget.
This hood on it cracks me up. It looks like a mosquito. And I thought that's got to be kind of a joke. I mean, but that's real.
No joke. Those hood ornaments were given out by MG dealers in the early 30s. It's just a beautiful Art Deco style design.
It's fantastic. Now, you couldn't have gotten this color combo in 32, could you? I mean, this cream and green.
You could. They are standard MG colors: Sequoia cream and Shire's green. These cars always came two-tone.
I love what's going on in the interior. So many interesting things here. The first thing that sticks out to me is that floating gear shift, the cantilevered gear shift.
The form is following the function, and
well, yeah, I mean, the transmission's right there. You see where it goes right into the transmission.
Absolutely.
But boy, it's a little car, yet it has a back seat. I mean, it's a kind of a 4-passenger. You better have 2 small passengers back there, but no tail lights.
There is one little taillight, and that's all you got. And that is absolutely authentic.
I absolutely love the car, but I bet it's got a wee tiny little engine in it.
It does have a wee tiny little engine in it.
Let's have a look at it.
Okay.
Well, that's cute.
850 cc's.
850, 4-cylinder, right?
4-cylinder.
So they got to be about like that big around.
Something like that.
Yeah, no air cleaner.
No air cleaners. Overhead cam.
Which was pretty advanced for 32, actually.
It was. Well, that's how we see. We've come full cycle. We started off overhead cam, then we went to push rod, and now we're going back to overhead cam. So, from that standpoint, it's quite contemporary.
This is just a fabulous little car. Have you had it at this show before?
It was on the show field last year, and people said you should put it in concourse because it's such an interesting little car. So here we are.
Lo and behold.
It's in concourse, yes.
It's fabulous. A 1932 MG J1.
J1, that's correct.
First one I've ever seen.
Good.
Thanks
Thank you
for
very
bringing
much,
it out,
Dennis.
Malcolm.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Right.
The Midge.
The Midge.
Stan, this is an absolutely stunning car. This
thank
is
you.
it's a 54 Arnolt Bristol.
Yes.
I never even heard of an Arnolt Bristol. How many of these did they make?
Altogether 140, and today about 80 to 90 still exist.
Wow, I'm surprised there's that many of them around. Out of how many?
140 total.
That's not bad. Is it an aluminum car? It looks aluminum.
The hood, trunk, and doors are aluminum, and the rest is steel.
It's an interesting car. I think it's got a really interesting stance.
Yeah.
It seems to, the nose sits up awful
high. Yeah, it's for two reasons. Well, the main reason for that is that it's a tri-carb setup, and the carbs sit very high. And the original body that Bertone had designed for this did not have a hood scoop, so he had to lift the car up about 2 inches in the front and put on a hood scoop to get the carburetors to fit in.
The body and the lines are so crisp on it, and I'm surprised. I mean, it's a steel body. That's a lot of art there.
No, it's a work of love. The lines are very hard to get because it's a handmade body.
Yeah.
The fenders had to be made in 6 pieces.
Great interior. These look like the original gauges.
They are the original gauges, yes. It's got a few interesting things. It's got a remote throttle because these essentially, are race cars.
Yeah.
So if your gas pedal went, which was not uncommon back then, you could just reach over and pull out your remote throttle.
So it's a little bit of a cruise control.
Yeah.
I like these braces too. I mean, that's kind of an interesting setup.
Yes.
Give you a little more reinforcement.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous all the way to the back. It's such, it's so elegant. I love how the taillights are just kind of nestled in there.
Yeah, it's a very clean, crisp body design.
Now, what powers this baby?
Okay, it's got a 3-liter BS1 Bristol engine. Produces 130 horsepower, and back then that was quite a bit, yeah.
And those are the 3 high-setting carburetors.
Those are the 3 high-setting carburetors.
Now, the Bristol engine, that's what was originally in the Aces.
Aces,
before Shelby got a hold of them and slept into 260.
The original engine design, it was actually licensed from BMW by Bristol in the late 30s.
Oh, really? It looks like it's all business, but
there's a lot of room in there too.
Yeah, there is.
You can actually work on it.
And how is it to drive?
It's fun. It handles wonderfully. It has minimal brakes, so braking is a planned event. If you know you're going to stop in a quarter of a mile, you got to start thinking about it.
Well, I tell you, great car. That's definitely the only one here. Thanks so much for bringing it up.
Thank you very much,
54 Arnolt Bristol. Wow, man. Well, Steve, these are really nice cars. I see them every once in a while. They always catch my eye. This is a Daimler SP250, right?
Yes, sir.
1962.
62.
62. Now, one of the things that was neat about this car is this is a fiberglass car, right?
Completely fiberglass steel chassis.
And that was, fairly early on to be playing with fiberglass.
Competition for the Corvette, I think.
Yeah. There's no bumper on the front of this car, right?
Bumper was an option. I choose not to use a bumper. It looks a cleaner look.
And these scallops, that's Daimler, isn't it?
Strictly Daimler, yes, sir.
Yeah. And these are nice touches.
They share a lot of Regal things. A lot of their bigger saloons always had these lights over the headlights.
And the wire wheels and wide whites. What an interesting...
Wide
whites.
Makes the wheels pop.
It really does, man.
It just sets the car off.
Very English sports car. Interior Smith gauges. You got your toggle switches.
Conley leather, Wilton wool.
Oh, really? Wow. So, this is a fairly high-end car.
High-end. Roll-up windows, which most sports cars didn't have.
This is an interesting body. It's a little bit Flash Gordon almost. It's a little bit space age. Give you that illusion of speed even when it's sitting still.
Exactly. The fins like the Sunbeams had.
Yeah, you get to the back, and if you look at it dead from the back, it does look like.
A lot of people think it's a Sunbeam.
Yeah, it looks like a
Sunbeam.
Sunbeam. Okay, so it's going to have a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder engine in a straight 6? Something
V8 Hemi.
A V8 Hemi.
Yeah,
You're serious?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Well, let's have a look at that.
Okay. And there she is.
That is a Hemi.
Absolutely.
I can't believe that. What's the displacement?
2.5 liters, 156 cubes.
Well, that's a tiny little V8.
Yes, sir. 3-inch bore, 2 3/4 stroke.
So piston about like that?
A little smaller.
And were you saying that shares?
Shares a piston with a 650 BSA.
That is amazing. SU HD6 and an interesting mounting configuration
Exactly.
too. So side drafts sitting up here. But
perfect.
it fits really well in there.
Designed for the car.
Yeah.
Specifically made for the car.
An absolutely beautiful car. And is it fairly fast?
I've only gone 100 so far, but that's fast enough for me. Yeah, exactly.
Well, man, this is a great car, Steve.
I appreciate it.
Daimler SP250.
SP250.
Glad you brought it up.
Thank you, Dan.
That got a Hemi in it?
Yes, it does. It's got a Hemi.
Well, Peter, These Lotus 7s are insane cars. This is kind of a Lotus 7.
Yeah, it's
Kind of not, but you created this car.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the story. Tell me the story of this car.
my dad and I had done a 73 MGB for my mom, I don't know, probably a year and a half, 2 years before this, and it kind of got me into the British car theme, and I kind of wanted to have my own thing, and I had a friend that kind of tipped me off on this. He had a VIN number from a wrecked one, and he had a book that went along with it, how to build a sports car for under 250 British pounds. And from,
Good book.
Yeah. And from that, we got a base for the frame design. We built it to fit a 1275.
So I mean, you built the frame too?
Yeah, frame, the whole 9 yards. I had a local guy in town that had a Jensen Healy that was stuck under the eaves at his house that he'd chopped apart. And
Who chops up a Jensen Healy?
He was gonna build a hill climb car out of it.
Who builds a hill climb car out of a Jensen Healy?
It was supposed to. It never made the hill climb, so it got left under the eaves. The motor was seized to, on top of everything once we got it home.
Oh my gosh!
But we went back through and chopped the frame apart to fit that motor under it. That was all probably within the first year, and then it kind of got stuffed in the corner, and we went off to college. And then over the years, I pulled it back out with a little bit more knowledge and a couple more friends that had some technology. We were able to build the front suspension for it.
This slant mount, is that?
That's how the motor would have been mounted in the Jensen Healy.
What is the engine?
Engine is a Lotus 907.
What's the displacement?
It's a 2-liter. I think it's 1998, I believe.
So it's a dual
CCs.
overhead cam
Yep.
4?
Yep, twin overhead cam,
Wow.
16 valve.
So you got to be pushing.
Yeah, I'd say well over 200.
Yeah. You did all this interiors?
Yeah,
Interior fabrication and everything?
was all done by us in-house.
Now she seems a little, wider than a Lotus 7?
It's a lot wider. It's got the rear end that was in that Jensen Healy, which
Okay.
has a limited slip in it.
You got it on the bottom?
Yeah, it's just
Like it's not insane enough?
No, it's just for show, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's a little 30-horse shot. It does spruce it up a little bit. But
And you did all this starting
Yep.
in high school?
yeah, we're going on 4 years now.
This is one of the coolest cars here. Nice job, man.
Thank you.
Lotus 7 sorta.
Yeah, sort of.
Sorta. Well, Dale, these are funky little cars. This is a
Yes.
73 Lotus Europa.
Correct.
These are odd little cars, and this is one of these love it or hate it cars. I've always really liked them because they're just so different. And I remember a friend of mine in college had one of these, and I thought it was the wildest machine ever. This was basically Lotus's first mid-engine car, wasn't it?
That's their attempt at mid-engine. Yes,
Yeah?
the first one, right?
Well, it's got such a wild look. I mean, you get up front, and
Yep.
okay, that looks British. It looks British enough. But then as you go farther back, it just gets more and more different. By the time you get, about to the middle of the car and you look
Correct.
back, you go, I'm not sure what that looks like.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a really different look. And it's almost like GT40 low.
Yeah, GT39 low. Yeah.
So it's only 39
39
inches?
inches,
No
yeah,
kidding,
yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah.
Man, you have to really climb down into this. Can I open the door?
Sure,
I
go
think it's
ahead.
the only
Yeah,
way
go
to
ahead.
look at the interior, right?
Yep. It's a long ways down. Okay.
Holy cow.
Yep.
It's pretty fancy, really, for a little sports car. It's not the black dash. I mean, you got almost a Jag look going there with the burl walnut.
They did some nice appointments on this car. They started doing it on the later British cars. The vinyl is nicely appointed in here.
So like the burl walnut here, too?
Yep, that was added in. That's an extra there. That's
Well, that's a nice touch.
a match
Nice
the-
touch, I
match
must
the
say.
dash, yeah.
All the Smith gauges and everything. I mean, it's got a great look in here. And once you get down in it, I guess, there's decent headroom and stuff.
Yeah, you just put it on one leg at a time.
Like a pair of pants,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it is down there. And then, of course, the engine's back here.
That's correct. Yep.
Boy, and it is. It's mid-engine. It's way up here. This isn't even what a Europa would normally have, though, is it?
It's a twin cam engine, which is what Europa would have this year. But it's been beefed up a little bit. The original engine was about a 1.6 liter. This is up to 1.8 liters, okay? And it was built in England by Vegatune, which is a racing engine builder, and puts out probably 180 horsepower versus 110 on the stock one.
In a car that weighs
1,400 pounds.
That's gotta
So
be a
it's
lot of
a
fun.
nice power to weight ratio, yeah.
With that much power and that little weight, how is it to drive?
Like a go-kart.
Really?
Yeah. You point it, it goes.
Does it stick?
It does stick. It sticks very well. It's like on rails.
Yeah.
Except that if you use the throttle, you can turn the car right around.
So you better mean it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Not much for rear visibility. You want everybody to be, you're going to be out in front of
You
everybody
don't look
anyway.
back. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
but-
Yeah.
Well, these are wild, and I tell you, it's a very cool car, Dale. Europa, Lotus
Thank you very
Europa,
much. Yep.
special,
Special, correct.
very special.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh man, we had a blast here at the British Invasion in Stowe, Vermont. There are some unbelievable cars at this event, and you can't beat the setting. You really ought to check this one out.